Hey guys, what's up? Dingocrikey here with another commentary video, and before I start this one, I do want to give some notes to you guys. I'm actually recording this introduction after I recorded the rest of the video, because after re-listening to it, I realized there are some things I want to make note of. First of all, this video, like my previous Transformers 5 Q&A, referring to number 4, will be split into two halves. The first focusing on the Transformers questions, whereas the second is going to focus on more general questions. The second half is really long, but because of a question that I received, I wanted to kind of just let loose and discuss my experience on YouTube and tips to new YouTubers getting started, especially within the Transformers community or just general stuff. If you're interested in that, then stick around for the second half of Q&A because I go on a really long time about that. I also wanted to note that this one will have some audio problems, at least in the first half of the video, which I'm really sorry about, but I only realized once I was done recording, like the first 15 minutes, and I really didn't have the time and didn't feel like going back and re-recording the whole first half, especially because this was a non-scripted one, so it would just be difficult. So my apologies there. If you're just interested in the second half, that should be pretty good. Basically, I was just having some problems with Audacity, and I got a new microphone, which is kind of cool, but isn't working on the computer that I mainly record on, so I actually had to move over to my Windows XP, which is the one that makes all of this noise, which you can probably hear with the better microphone, and record it over here. Anyways, wanted to get those disclaimers out of the way. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Here is my 5th Transformers 5 Q&A. And yeah, the audio can get pretty rough at times, so just bear with me. So, you guys know the rundown. Basically, I'll be looking at a few questions I've gotten from the comment sections of my other videos, comments relating to Transformers 5, and I'll be answering those questions here, about 5 or 6 questions. This video isn't a scripted one or anything. I just kind of wrote down a few questions that I've seen in the comment section below, and I'm going to be answering those sort of off the cusp. And if you're new to this type of video, it is primarily an opinion-based video, meaning that I'll either be giving my opinions on these questions or the opinions of the commenter if they left them with their question, like what they think may happen or something like that, or a general opinion. If there is any evidence, say if the question had to deal with Ratchet returning in Transformers 5 and we had a statement by Michael Bay, then I would include that, but for the most part this is kind of just a video for fun, so just to let you guys know, it's not really like a Transformers 5 news video or anything like that. Also, if you watch this video and you would like to hear some thoughts on any questions you have about Transformers 5, then you can drop off your questions in the comment section below and I'll try to get to answering them. I know there's some I'm not going to be answering in this video, some I might have missed, so you guys can repost those, or if you have some new questions. Now, I did get some comments pertaining to specific characters such as Black Arachnia or Blitzwing and whether they would appear in Transformers 5, and I'm going to save those for my next Transformers 5 character predictions video, so just to let you guys know why I wouldn't be answering them in this one. And I should probably note I'm going to take some questions that kind of pertain to general things like the channel, just some general questions people had for me, and I'll be answering those in the second half of the video, and I'll make a clear distinction between when the Transformers 5 questions end and when I get into those. So if you're not interested in those, you can just stop watching the video there. Anyways, let's get into the Transformers 5 questions. The first one comes from user Jordan Swift. And the question reads, do you think that Galvatron will ever join the Autobots and help Optimus Prime win the war? And will Megatron ever become a Prime? So I think this is one of the more interesting questions that's been brought up in regards to Galvatron's future in the Transformers films. Because if they're going to have a total of 8 Transformers films, they're going to need to do stuff with his character to keep him interesting, unless they just kill him off prematurely and he doesn't make it through all of them. Basically, I don't think he can just stay being the boogeyman who occasionally comes out of the shadows and attacks the Autobots. It would get really old fast, and I think even with the directing of these movies, they would know not to make that mistake. So I do think they're going to have to do something with his character, and We have seen this happen at various points throughout different Transformers cartoons. Now, I'm not going to say which ones in particular for those who don't want it spoiled, but in some cartoons he's joined the Autobots for a period of time to defeat a greater evil and then kind of reverted back, or in some he's even kind of strayed away from evil permanently by the end of the series. And I do think that we see some potential for this by what we've seen of him in Dark of the Moon. I mean, it was Megatron, but Megatron, Galvatron, basically the same thing. When he wanted to have a truce between him and Optimus, he did want to be in charge, but this does show that the film version of his character has the capacity for a reason and isn't just out there to fight and to destroy things. He may indeed get tired of the conflict. Now, it's pretty obvious that he is a guy who likes to be in control. Maybe not as much as previous renditions of the character, as we've seen he is submissive to the Fallen, but the Fallen was kind of a special case as he's almost like a god amongst the Decepticons, and now he's dead, but even with Sentinel Prime, he could be kind of submissive. Either way, I think if he was going to join the Autobots, join with Optimus Prime, Hound, Bumblebee, he's going to want to have some control. You know, even if there's going to be peace, he's going to want control, and knowing the type of guy he is, I don't think he's going to stay being a peaceful, friendly guy for too long. So I think under normal circumstances, that wouldn't really happen. There would need to be a greater threat, and that seems very probable, whether that be the creators or Unicron. Personally, I think it probably is going to end up being Unicron, and I definitely could see Galvatron working with the Autobots to take him down. And if there were a massive threat such as Unicron or something else, if they don't want to introduce Unicron, basically if this showed up, I do think Galvatron would side with the Autobots in this case rather than Unicron, because they're kind of opposed to each other in ideals, probably more so than even the Autobots, considering Unicron seems to want to just destroy all life and just devour and consume and destroy things, basically. Galvatron or Megatron traditionally, and I would probably say in the film, seems like a guy who actually wants to rule things. In some cases, he can be even more complex, where he actually cares about the future of Cybertron or the Cybertronian race, and just thinks tyranny's, the best way to go about it. Basically, he's not a I want to destroy the universe type of bad guy. So I think we would have sort of an enemy of my enemy is my friend type of thing for a while when Unicron or a greater threat was present, but eventually Galvatron would turn on the Autobots, probably resulting in a final fight between him and Optimus Prime. And I think this is a very probable route if we do see a greater evil being brought into the Transformers films. If for some reason they get cut down to only 5 and 6 in some spin-off films, then I don't think they would have enough time to do all of this. But if we're going to see 8 Transformer films and all, I actually think this is very probable that at some point Galvatron is going to join the Autobots, probably not permanently, and probably not out of the goodness of his heart. I mean, it's possible, but I'm not really seeing it at this point. Anyways, thanks for the question. Comes from a user called, I believe it's pronounced Ulkaiora Schaefer. Sorry if I didn't pronounce the name right. I hope I did. I believe that would be from Bleach, the one character. Don't watch Bleach, so I don't know how it's pronounced exactly, but I looked it up and I hope I got it right. Anyways, his question reads, does not Galvatron still have CNA, DNA of Transformers, of the Allspark shard? If he does, he can somehow bring back the deceased Decepticons. Galvatron bringing Sentinel back and Sentinel becoming Nemesis. I'm assuming referring to Nemesis Prime. If you want to hear my thoughts on Sentinel coming back as Nemesis Prime, someone had suggested the theory, and I covered it in a video. If you go to the videos page on my channel and sort by most viewed, it should be the top video, so it's really easy to find. But as far as Galvatron being the one to bring him back and using the Allspark to do so and bring back other Decepticons, I don't see this happening. For the simple fact, I don't think he has the Allspark with him anymore. Now, we did see in Revenge of the Fallen that the Decepticons used a piece of the Allspark to purge it into Megatron's chest and revive him, but in Revenge of the Fallen or Dark of the Moon, I don't believe we were given any hint that he still had any Allspark active in him, or that he was able to, conjure up the energy, anything like that. Also, he has been rebuilt in Age of Extinction as Galvatron, so it's not even the same body, so he definitely wouldn't have it in him even if the original Megatron body did. I mean, his original body was probably melted down or something, and if there was any part of the Allspark left, the KSI would have found it. Maybe there's something that I'm missing that was hinted at in the films. It has been a little while since I rewatched the film, so if you guys picked up on anything I might have missed, and drop off any hints in the comment section below. Anyways, the next question comes from user Sean Marazita. The question reads, how high of a chance would you say Chromia would have of returning? So thanks for the question. I get asked a lot about my thoughts on different characters returning, especially Autobot ones, but not a whole lot on the ones who disappeared in Revenge of the Fallen. So I figured I'd give my thoughts on Chromia. I really don't think there's any chance we'll be seeing Chromia in Transformers 5. I would probably even say 0, unless the writers really want to throw us for a loop, or Hasbro gets an interest in marketing the character again. Basically, we had the 2 other members of the RC triplet killed off in Revenge of the Fallen, and while Chromia, I don't believe had her own death scene, I do believe the writers of the films and the people working on it confirmed that she did die at least somewhere between the 2 films, I guess we're supposed to assume. So we do have that. They don't seem interested in bringing her back. They didn't even have her in Dark of the Moon, sort of like we've seen with Skids and Mudflap. Now, they could always bring her back, revive her with KSI technology or some other means, as we did see was done in Resurrecting Galvatron, so we know it's a possibility within the films, but considering Chromia has been gone for so long, I don't think in both of a production sense and a story sense they would bring her back. She's been gone really long. The creators of the film obviously don't seem to really care about the character, and in a story sense, they probably don't have her remains anywhere nearby. If she was killed off, they probably disposed of them however they dispose of any other Transformers without, knowing if they could revive them or not. So I think it's just probably too late in all regards, and personally I'm not too concerned for them to bring her back because she really didn't get any development in the film, and I would rather them invest in a new character and probably with a better design. It was kind of a cool design for what Revenge of the Fallen was doing with a lot of the unconventional ones, but not too crazy about it. Anyways, thanks for the question. The next one comes from Dapper Shinks. His question reads, hey, I have an idea for a video topic. How would you write Transformers 5? And that's a really interesting question, and as much as I talk about it, I've never really thought about how I would write it. I mean, there are some issues there. I do some writing on my own, come up with my own stories, that kind of thing, but I've never really had to write anything that would, be a movie. I mean, the closest I've come is potential stop-motion movie ideas, which is a totally different ballgame, and even with that, I was a lot younger when I was coming up with those. Basically, what I'm saying is, for me or anyone else who kind of critiques the movies and says, the story should go this way, or this should have been written this way, I don't really think we could write the movies ourselves, at least without some training and stuff, because we might have ideas for like the story, the outline, but writing a movie is a whole different process and a whole different ballgame. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I write for fun, the fictional stories I come up with, are more designed for like a novel or a manga format. Nothing like a movie, so I honestly have no idea how I would do that. Now, as far as just in a general sense, like story events I would like to see happen, what I think needs to be added to the film in regards to tone, taken out in regards to humor, all of that kind of stuff. I mean, I definitely do have some ideas. I mean, obviously I've done like tons and tons of videos on it, so I hopefully do. I can't really get into them all in this video. For one, I don't want this Q&A to be terribly long. Also, I mean, I've covered some of them in other videos, such as Optimus finding the creators, and maybe us finding out something such as the creators aren't totally bad guys at this point, whereas in they're actually maybe working against Unicron, or maybe there's a more complex reason to why they want Optimus Prime. I've done some videos on it you guys can watch if you're interested. Also, having like the Elite Guard show up on Earth and having conflict between Bumblebee's group, as we're assuming they're going to be led by Bumblebee, and how that would all work out. If we're going to see the Dinobots, maybe having Galvatron bring in the Predacons, all of that kind of stuff. Now this is going to kind of get into general channel stuff real quick, but in regards to criticisms I've had of the movies or things that I would like to see changed, I would like to do very analytical, critical videos on certain aspects of the films and just pick them apart, which would kind of deal with like how personally I would like to see the Transformers films done. For example, I would like to do a video on the inappropriate content in the films, basically the sexual content, the really crude humor, that kind of stuff. Pick out a few scenes to use as examples and analyze and examine why the scenes aren't funny and why the humor doesn't really work well in the films. Because I do think that kind of humor, really crude humor for example, can work really well in some forms of media. For example, South Park is a show that I think not always, but definitely can make this kind of humor work, because there's reasoning and logic and an actual purpose behind why these jokes are made and what the satire actually is, rather than just, I don't know, seeing some guy wearing a thong with absolutely no context behind it. I think doing videos like that would be a lot of fun and would give you guys insight on how I would like to see the Transformers films done and how I think they would be done better. But of course that video would take a lot of research and work, all that kind of stuff. Would be sort of like writing a research paper, so they definitely would be, not like a regular upload or something like that. Anyways, I hope that answered the question. The final question in relation to Transformers 5 comes from Ninja82Cool. His question reads, please talk about new Autobots and what Autobots Optimus is going to run into. Thanks. Well, thanks for your question, and this is one I'll probably want to dedicate a whole video to. What Autobots could Optimus find in space? What could his exploration really contain? All of that kind of stuff, since at this point we're pretty sure the film will probably follow those two paths, and Optimus as one will have him in space, or at least we'll see flashbacks to it. But I just wanted to address it real quick here. Personally, out of any character he could encounter, the one I would probably like to see most, at least off the top of my head, I would think is Cosmos. I mean, not only is he a really cool looking character with a unique design, but he's also a character we don't see recreated that often and is really long overdue for a toy or any form in visual media. For example, fans who were around during the Classics line probably remember the whole infamous scandal where we thought we were going to get a deluxe class Cosmos toy. We seen concept art, then it never turned out, all of that, and it was very upsetting. So there's definitely that motivation for wanting to see him in the films, but also he would fit in good with this arc. If we're going to have Optimus in space, what better character to introduce than Cosmos, who already classically transforms into a spaceship? Just jazz up the design, make it fit in with the films, and Cosmos could work out really well. And personally, I would love to see him there, but I'll probably address the topic in more depth in a future video, probably dedicated to that topic entirely. So thanks a lot for the suggestion. And that sums up the Transformers 5 questions. These are going to be now general questions dealing with the channel, some other things like that. If you're not interested, obviously you don't have to listen, and thanks for listening to the Transformers 5 questions, and if you have any suggestions, drop them off in the comment section below. Anyways, the first question comes from user Big Daddy Reviews. His question, what will you talk about in the other channel? So for those of you who don't know what Big Daddy Reviews is referring to, it's something that I had mentioned at the end of my last Q&A with the whole channel update section. And yeah, basically I do plan on working on another channel, and it's not a channel related to Transformers, and it's something I plan to do on alongside of this channel, meaning I'd be working on both at the same time. Now, I can't really define what the channel is focused on because, as I'd mentioned, it's general stuff. Basically, what I'm planning on doing is a list channel. For those of you who aren't familiar with the term, it's more commonly known as like top 10s, top 15s, 25, whatever you want to call it, but basically like a list channel, something in that format. Probably going to go with top 10s, those are my personal favorite, and it's not going to be really centered around anything in particular, such as Transformers or comic books or animals, nature, news. It's just, anything I think of, anything that sounds cool that I'm reading about at the time, just basically write them down and then compose a video to talk about them and kind of share this information. Because, well, here's where it got started. I've basically, for a while now, been wanting to start another channel, and I haven't really been able to decide on what I wanted to do. Like, I'm interested in music, so I was thinking of doing, like, a guitar channel, since I play guitar, but, you know, like, kind of giving lessons, or running through exercises, maybe doing song covers, something like that. But I'm kind of like, yeah, that seems like a big investment. You know, I would need a new camera. My one's okay, but I would probably want a better one, want better lighting, and I don't practice guitar as much as I used to. Like, for a little while there, I was actually planning to go to college for guitar, but I didn't end up doing that. But basically, I used to practice a lot, and not quite as much these days, so kind of ditched that. I was thinking of kind of doing maybe like a review channel of just general stuff, whether it be TV shows, movies, just anything in media, maybe even albums. But I feel like in some ways that may become too similar to this channel, and what I want to do is something different, something that isn't just commentary, because I already have that. I do commentary on Transformers, and I really enjoy it, but, you know, I want to focus on different things that I enjoy too, and something like that would be pretty similar. Plus, it would probably become, you know, a lot of research and reviewing, and I'm gonna have to be like critical and, you know, kind of argue with people in the comments and all that kind of stuff, which is something I don't really want to do. But I do spend a lot of time just reading about various topics. Like the one day, me and my brother were just looking up cases of like people who fought like chimps or baboons and this kind of stuff, and, you know, seeing if it's possible for a human to beat these, and finding different cases, and it's really interesting. Or looking into like certain medical inventions or medical practices and how long those actually go back. For instance, like plastic surgery, the first proper one, I guess, you know, really documented case was like in the early 1900s. Someone, I think, was involved in one of the world wars, and but we have like records going back to like I don't know, 500 BC or something like that, when people were already experimenting with that. And basically, I really enjoy reading this stuff, but I'm not really doing anything with the knowledge right now. So it's kind of just like when I'm bored, I just do this random reading, and I'm not going to school right now, and it's all kind of miscellaneous stuff, so it doesn't really pertain to one subject. So I was thinking, why not do something with this information, like on YouTube or on the internet in general, somewhere where I can share and produce content that has to deal with this stuff, and just getting it out there. Because me personally, I loved list channels, like Matthew Santoro's one of my favorite YouTubers. It was one of the first list channels I got into. I'd really recommend watching his videos. And Watch Mojo are another one I had watched early on. Not really into them anymore. All Times 10s make some good videos. Stuff like that. I really enjoy it. I like reading all this miscellaneous stuff, and it's been a lot of fun so far. I've learned a lot. I kind of had to think of how I want to produce the channel, and it's been a little bit frustrating at times, but I think in good ways, and I'm really looking forward to creating the channel and getting the stuff out there. And I will announce it on this channel whenever I get done with the channel. I'll probably have a link to it on my YouTube page whenever I come up with a name for the channel, which has been really difficult. And just to let you know, they will be scripted, so you won't have all of this and, you know, all that and all those things I usually say when my videos aren't scripted, so I want them to be pretty professional. But anyways, probably around a late spring, early summer, I'll be getting the channel like up on YouTube, get some videos rolling, all of that, and I'll announce it here. But if you guys are interested, I definitely would love for you to check it out. If you enjoy that kind of stuff, that would be cool. But if it's something you guys aren't interested in, don't feel obligated to subscribe just because you follow me on this channel, or, you know, you're feeling like I should support this new channel. You guys don't have to. I never think that's a good thing for people to feel obligated to do things or anything like that. If the content seems cool and you enjoy it, you can subscribe, but don't just do it just because. But I really do hope you guys enjoy it, because I've been real excited about the channel, and I've really enjoyed doing it so far. It's just, some of the complications like terms of service, what images I can use, fair use, coming up with logos, a channel name. All that stuff's been kind of frustrating, but I'm definitely learning, and if you guys have any questions on that stuff, I would love to share anything I've learned to make it easier for new people looking into this, because I definitely wish someone could have answered some of my questions. But anyways, thanks for the question, and that does lead me into the last one I'll be answering for this video, and that comes from user Andrew Collins, and he had some comments about my whole Bionicle Netflix video and all that, but the question part of his comment is, maybe could you give me tips on how to get a lot of subscribers? And this kind of goes with some of the things that I was addressing with the previous question, so I almost thought of putting them together. But I'll start by saying I'm probably not the best person to ask this question to, because I have a pretty good amount of subscribers, but I don't think I have what most people would consider a lot of subscribers. It's all a perception thing, so it kind of depends, but overall I wouldn't say I have a ton or anything. And even if I did have like 100,000 subscribers one day or something like that, I would like to make a note that everyone is going to have their different perceptions on this. I don't think there's just one way to get lots of subscribers or, get a big following, because there's definitely different strategies and it depends on what you're doing. But I'm going to give my advice from my experience and from what I've heard other YouTubers, especially the successful ones, say on this topic. The first thing I wanted to address is that in your comment, Andrew Collins, you had first mentioned that, by the way, can you watch my videos and subscribe to me? I don't want to sound harsh, but to be bluntly honest, this is one of the worst attitudes you can go about in getting more subscribers. For me personally, I don't mind people asking me to watch their videos. As long as they, comment on my videos and leave some feedback that's actually relevant, I don't mind. That's a way for people to get their video to me, and I don't see any problem with that. Maybe other YouTubers will, but personally I don't. I don't see asking people to subscribe as a good strategy, and personally I don't like when other people do it. And if you listen to some of the bigger YouTubers talk about this stuff, at least the ones I've heard mainly seem to hold this opinion as well. Whether it's a shout out or asking for a subscription, people don't like it and you're not going to get received well, and ultimately you're not going to get those subscribers from that method. Now, I do have some personal thoughts to add to this, but this is kind of just maybe myself, so don't take it as fact or anything, is that there may be a psychological thing going on too. When you comment on someone's video asking to have their subscription, it almost tells them in their mind that this person really isn't good enough, or they're not producing good enough videos to get noticed on their own, so they have to ask for subscriptions. Not just ask to get viewed, but ask for that subscription to really make any relevant mark. And not saying that your videos are bad. Honestly, I haven't got to checking out your videos yet, but I definitely will. So they could be really cool, but I don't think that's the impression that is set in other users' minds when you do this. Another problem that I see when people post this kind of stuff is that they are seeking popularity and possibly one day money as the motivation and driving purpose for why they're doing their channel. And I don't think there could be a bigger problem with starting a YouTube channel than doing that. And I'm just being honest here, but I've kind of been in that place myself. I mean, I don't think there's anyone who would deny that they do like having subscribers, that they like seeing the views go up on their videos, and they like the prospect of making money off of their videos one day. But if this is your central motivation behind making a YouTube channel, then I just don't think you're going to succeed. And it's a weird thing, but it seems like that is the case for whatever reasons, that people who don't really enjoy it just aren't able to really get anywhere. And that's the thing, you have to be doing it because you enjoy it, because, talking about Transformers or doing list channels or Transformer stop motions, whatever it might be, because that's a passion you have and you really, really enjoy it. And it's a weird thing, but I feel like even subconsciously, YouTubers can determine whether or not the person they're watching or they're listening to, and in my case, really enjoys what they're doing. And if they don't feel like it's sincere, then they probably aren't going to keep up with you. If they feel like you're just there because you want subscribers, not to say that can't be part of your motivation, but if that is your sole motivation, then I think they'll be able to tell and probably won't follow you. Also, there are very, very few people who become superstars overnight, so to speak, or even there's some people who have like 100,000 subscribers, which isn't super big, but is a pretty good amount. They don't get there overnight. So if you don't enjoy what you're doing, you got to understand, you're going to be at it for a very long time before you get anywhere with it. So if you're just doing it for money, then you're going to be working like 4 years at something and not making any profit out of it. I want to be doing that. I mean, one of my all-time favorite YouTubers is Trev's Chan 2, and for those of you who don't know, he's basically a guy who reviews The Walking Dead, does commentary on it, predictions. Basically, he does kind of for The Walking Dead TV series and the comic books what I do for Transformers, and he was one of the key inspirations for me doing my channel because I loved his videos so much. Now he has, I think he may be nearing 200,000 subscribers or something like that, but for a long time, like during the first few seasons of the show when he had started his reviews, he was not very big at all, and he actually got way more dislikes on his videos than likes, because I think there were a lot of stupid people who thought it was going to be the episode uploaded onto YouTube, then they found out it was review, and all of that. But yeah, so he was actually getting hate early on and wasn't having a whole lot of success, but it was something he enjoyed doing and he kept plugging away at it. And I love watching his videos. I love watching his videos more than I like watching the actual show, just because he seems so passionate about it. He's a happy guy, seems to enjoy what he's doing, and it's a whole lot of fun. I mean, I'm not taking college classes right now. I had put in 2 years and dropped out, and one of my reasons was kind of like, okay, I'm going to be working at all this stuff, like maybe computer science or engineering, but I don't enjoy any of this, so I'm going to be working at it for all these years, and not going to really be getting anything out of it. Even if I do make a lot of money one day, what's the matter if I'm spending all my time on a job that I don't even enjoy? I mean, that wasn't the only reason I dropped out of college. There's also, the bills, you have a lot of pretentious professors there, and it's just kind of an annoying atmosphere. But now that isn't to say there isn't you should totally disregard things such as money and being able to support yourself, because I completely believe that is, an important part of life, and I disagree with people who say you should only follow your dreams. I mean, this is getting a little bit off topic, but I do want to address it. For example, like I could have went to college for something in writing, because I really enjoy writing. I honestly love doing research papers and, looking at articles, analyzing the argument. All of that is a ton of fun to me. And, you get a very accomplished feeling out of it. But when I looked at everything that would go into that, the time, the money, the years, and looked at what I would be getting out of it, it didn't seem worth it, because getting a degree in something such as journalism or, basically things in the writing department, the English department, aren't going to really pay off, and then I'm going to have all of this debt. So even though I really enjoy doing that, it probably isn't worth it in the end, at least for myself. Because as much as I enjoy reading books, writing, and analyzing media, that isn't the only component of my life, and to be successful in one of those career-oriented towards something like that, you're going to need to dedicate your whole life towards that. I talked to one of my teachers who basically said she worked at that college. Sometimes she taught at other universities, and then would work as an editor on the side and do some tutoring. I obviously enjoy collecting Transformers, Bionicle. I'm also into healthy eating, at least trying to eat healthy, and exercising. And if I'm spending all my time on something that I do enjoy when I have many others, but I don't have time for those now, then I don't see that as worth it either. I do think you need to find a balance. I think there's sometimes you need to make sacrifices. Maybe you need to take on something you don't enjoy quite as much, but you still enjoy, if you think it's worth the gain. And it's a really hard game you've got to play there. I don't have all of the answers to it because I'm still working through it myself. But I know that was kind of a tangent. I just wanted to give some of my thoughts on it, and maybe if anyone else is going through the similar experience, they can relate and all of that stuff. But as far as it connects to YouTube's success, in the same way, I do think there is a component to it that isn't just driven by how much you enjoy it, because you have to be smart about it too. Like, if you really enjoy things but all of your thumbnails are just like a black screen, no one's ever going to pick up on your videos. You do got to think of a way to market yourself, or a good strategy, such as having a regular upload schedule. Like, if you want to know one thing that will help you with YouTube success, I would say having a good upload schedule is definitely up there. I would know this from personal experience. When I keep on my schedule, I seem to do better as far as viewer response, people coming back to watch my videos. Whereas when I'm being lazy, or when I'm investing too much work into one video and I just leave a ton of the other ones behind, then, it definitely falters, and I haven't mastered the schedule yet. So that's part of the reason I can't give the best advice on this kind of stuff. But a strategy is an important thing. Thinking of how you want to define your channel. For example, mine is primarily a commentary channel. I'm not just going to upload random clips from Transformers or start uploading a ton of stop motion videos. Maybe an occasional one, maybe an occasional Bionicle review, something like that. But for right now, that's what my channel is about. This other channel, I want it to be a list channel, and that's going to be the focus of it. Maybe it won't always be top 10s, but it's going to be stuff related to that. Define your YouTube channel. I think that's super important, and it also makes it a lot more fun to work with, because you narrow down what you're working with and you won't feel as overwhelmed. Another thing is, keeping your viewers in mind. This is another thing that is incredibly important. Whether it's video suggestions or just replying to viewers' comments, being interactive with them on Twitter, it's all really, really important to your success. I mean, I know this for being a viewer of other channels. When I watch YouTubers who I see actually, respond to their commenters and might take a topic suggestion from me, that really makes you feel like you have a connection with that YouTuber, and you're more inclined to go back to their videos rather than just some random guy who doesn't give a crap about you. And that's why it's important to enjoy what you're doing, because if you enjoy it and the people commenting on your videos do, you can correspond about that really easily. Connecting viewer appreciation back to the whole subscriber thing. It means nothing for me if I have a ton of subscribers and they don't even watch my videos, or maybe they'll give it a view and a like, but they don't even leave comments. It means so much more if you see, people are commenting on your videos, they're thinking about what you said, and they're actually interacting with you. That is way more fulfilling, even if you have like 14 people who do that, than having like 4,000 subscribers who never do anything. Having a dedicated audience is not only important, but it's fulfilling. And those are the people who are going to stay with you, even when, maybe you're going through something and you're not going to be able to get content up as usual. Once you get it back up, it's a lot more likely that those people are going to keep up with your content than the guy who just subscribed to your video because, I don't know, someone told him to, or maybe you told him to. So that ended up going on way longer than I planned, but if I had to sum it up, give you or anyone else any tips on, basically how to succeed on YouTube, once again, I'm probably not the best person to ask, but from what I know from personal experience and hearing from other YouTubers that I listen to, I would probably say the best things you can do are basically pick something that you enjoy. Like, if you like Transformers, well, do you want to do commentary? Do you want to do news videos? Maybe stop motions? Maybe you enjoy all those things. Pick out the thing that you think could be the most profitable, maybe, and the thing that you enjoy most. Find that balance, and as long as you do enjoy doing it, then go for that. Also, figure out how you want to define your channel. Maybe you want to be a commentator, but you want to be super hyperactive and make your videos really fast, like under 3 minutes, where you just dish out a bunch of news and your thoughts on them. Maybe you want to take some more time, kind of like I do, and go through things, analyze, just kind of casually talk. Find what you're most comfortable with and what you can do best, and just define it. Is it going to be a commentary channel? Are you going to do something like stop motion? Maybe you'll go in a different direction and do a Transformers list channel, whatever it might be. I honestly don't think I've nailed this part of my channel exactly, whether I want to be like super analytical or just kind of like a casual talker, like I mentioned with that Trev's Chan too. He's just has a very casual tone, or whether I want each video to be like, hyper analytical and all that kind of stuff and really scripted. I just haven't really decided. I think I'm going with a balance and, just kind of shift back and forth. Another thing is, don't ask for subs. Don't do the whole sub for sub thing, because it won't work and it probably won't leave you happy. Interact with your viewers. That's super important. If you're taking topic suggestions, then, make sure you read what your viewers are saying and interact with them. It's definitely important. Also, have a game plan or an upload schedule. That is super important, and I definitely haven't mastered this yet, but it would probably really help if I did. And one thing that I want to mention that I forgot to mention earlier is the production part of it, speaking most specifically on equipment. Now, I do think there's a balance here. Like, you don't need the top-notch stuff on the market right away, but you do want to have a decent stuff. I'll use microphone as an example. Basically, you want to have at least a microphone that is like pleasant to listen to, and people can understand your voice, but you don't need to go out and get something like the Blue Yeti, which is like super expensive and has great quality, but may not be an investment you're willing to put in right away. And if you're a younger YouTuber, then you probably don't have that money, but you can maybe get your parents to pick up something that's like $20, because being able to understand what the person's saying is definitely important. But I've seen people who have made it pretty far in at least the beginning with not the best quality, so I don't think it's a necessity in the beginning. One more thing, if you are a younger viewer, maybe you're in middle school, high school, maybe you're even in elementary school, honestly, getting started now is probably the best time. You're young, you don't have to think about money, you can kind of do whatever you want, be productive, go on YouTube, and already start your channel if you have ideas about it. Like, don't just dream. Like Shia LaBeouf said, don't let your dreams be dreams. Like, all kidding aside, it's really good advice. Anyways, that was a mammoth answer to that question. I'm sorry if I came off a little bit harsh at times, but I'm just trying to be honest, and it's stuff that I wish someone would have told me when I was starting out. And once again, it's compiled from my personal opinions and things I've heard from other people, so it's kind of opinion-based. Go out there, read for yourself. But I do hope this was helpful, Andrew Collins, and to anyone else who might be wondering about this. A final thing, speaking about production and equipment, I don't know if you could tell or not, but I do have a new microphone, and I hope it sounds better, but there are some problems I've been running into with it. For example, I've usually been recording on my laptop lately, and for whatever reason it isn't responding well to the microphone. Like, there will be a little bit of a crackle in the beginning of each recording, which you probably will hear on some of the earlier parts of this recording, and basically with the later parts I brought it over to my old XP and did the recording there. I'm not having the problems with the microphone on the XP. I don't know why, but you can hear the fan inside the XP running, I'm sure because this microphone tends to pick up more, which is cool and not so cool in some cases. But anyways, that's what's going on there. I'm hoping to get this whole microphone situation worked out, and for anyone wondering, it's a blue snowball, just if you're curious. And that is all I have to say for this video. You guys know all the basic things. You know, if you like it, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you have anything to say about this part of the Q&A or the part, you know, with the Transformers questions, drop it off in the comment section below. If you would like to hear more massive monologues like this, you can ask me about anything in the comment section below, or more Transformers 5 stuff, which is usually a lot simpler to answer. Anyways, all I have to say for now, thanks for watching, stay tuned, and have a good one, guys. I'll see you soon.